Hello, welcome to Anxiety Makes Me Poop. It's just Meredith. You will be getting Cass later on this week. We're going to be talking about confidence because she has confidence and I don't, and it's going to be a great conversation. So hang on for the next episode as well. This one, we are going to be talking about how we might feel guilty leaving a party early because years ago someone may have done a guilt trip trap with us. Okay? Maybe you know what I'm talking about, maybe not. Listen. Yesterday, I went to the most beautiful baby shower. It was so wonderful, but I had a timeline. And it started at noon and I had to leave by 3. And I panicked the last hour thinking, okay, if they're still opening gifts and I have to get up and leave at 3 o'clock, I am going to feel so bad. But why? Because 2 years ago, nothing happened yesterday. It was absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. Beautiful mama, beautiful family. 2 years ago, I was at a party and I also had a timeline. And I had to leave, let's just say it was from noon to 3 as well. And I had to leave at 3 because I wanted to record an episode on the Clopen with Cass, the Clopen Effect. That's our funny retail podcast. And then we had a wedding to go to. So I had a pretty smushed and busy day. And when I went to go leave I think it was a wedding shower. When I went to go leave that wedding shower at 3 o'clock, or let's just say it was, 3 o'clock, someone looked at me and said, "Oh, what do you have to do? Go record another episode?" And I was like, yeah. And I immediately felt guilty for leaving. Like, how dare I put a boundary up? How dare I leave early from the shower? Like, I should be there until the shower's done. And do you know, I still have issues with leaving early 2 years later. And it happened yesterday. The last hour, I was like, okay, it looks like I was actually in my head. She had like 10 gifts left. And I was thinking to myself, so if it takes her about 15 minutes to open these gifts, I still have time to say my goodbyes and then I'm still on time. That is horrible. That is a horrible feeling because I wanted to just be there present, in the present, enjoying everything, watching her open her presents, and then go on with my day. And I didn't. My brain was like, okay, well, someone's going to say something like they did 2 years ago. Oh my goodness. So what is that? First of all, we're going to talk about what that is, and then we're going to talk about why people do that and how we can get out of it, right? How do we keep our boundaries up? So first, the way that I was feeling yesterday could be emotional conditioning or anticipatory anxiety. So both explain why past experiences can trigger guilt in new situations, which is what happened to me. So emotional conditioning is where your brain learned to associate leaving a party with feeling guilty. And that's what happened to me because of that one snarky comment that I got years ago. So now every time I'm in a similar situation, my brain automatically replays that guilt. Even if no one actually says anything this time, which they didn't. And no one has said anything in 2 years. I feel like my friends and family understand how busy I truly am. I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm so busy. I truly am. And I try to give my time to everyone as much as possible, even if it's an hour or 2 hours. And then I go on to the next thing that gets an hour or 2 hours of my attention. And then I go on to the next thing. But for some reason yesterday, I was just like, oh man, if I have to leave early, I'm going to feel bad. Someone might say something. No, they didn't. I brought gifts. I played the games. I said hi to everyone. We told stories. We caught up. It was amazing. It was a beautiful day. But for some reason, my anxiety decided that it was going to be already upset that maybe I would have to leave early. And I didn't have to leave early. It was the shower was getting over with at the time frame that I needed to leave, and it was perfect. So anticipatory anxiety is preemptively anxious about something that might happen. Okay, so that's based on past experience as well. So my brain was basically like, oh no, remember that one time someone made you feel bad? It could happen again and it's going to happen today. Even if there's no actual danger, right? And there wasn't. No one said anything, but my brain did that. So if you want to look up those two things like emotional conditioning or anticipatory anxiety, maybe look those up because if this is happening to you, maybe that can help you understand and how to get through it so that you don't have that anxiety if you're like me. Your brain is just trying to protect you from discomfort, right? So that's really what it is. And it's using outdated information. The good news is we can rewire that reaction over time by recognizing it and reminding ourselves that was one person one time, how many years ago, it doesn't define every party or every person that I see. Okay, so just a reminder on that. Now, let's go back to the guilt trip trap. Why do people do it, right? Why do people do it? So let's say, for example, you have to leave a party early and someone says, oh, really? No time for us? Or, oh, wait, you have to go record another episode, which is what happened to me. In that tone, right? They're kind of snarky. They're kind of sarcastic. Suddenly you're the bad guy for having other plans. Okay, like why did you double book yourself? Which you really didn't. You really didn't double book. Double booking yourself would be you're showing up to 2 parties at 2 p.m. because you said yes. And really, if you think about it, you gave them your time. You showed up. Whether it's 30 minutes, an hour. I am so appreciative of someone. Last year we had a party for my husband and someone had so many plans and so busy. And you know what? She showed up for a few minutes, came into the house. Happy birthday. Here's a card. I'm so sorry I can't stay. I just got done doing this. I have to run over here. I just wanted to come and say happy birthday to you in person. And that is something that my husband remembers. And I mean, she was here for just a few minutes. Amazing. Amazing. There was no guilt there. But anyways, why do people react this way when we set boundaries? Let's start with a little thing called psychological reactance. It's a fancy way of saying that when people feel like their freedom is being taken away, they push back. So when you say, hey, I have to head out early, or hey, I can only stay for a few minutes, but I'm here in person to wish you a happy birthday, their brain is like, wait, no, I don't like this. And instead of saying that, they hit you with guilt. Okay. So there's projection. Sometimes people who struggle with boundaries themselves project their feelings onto you. If they feel bad saying no, they assume you should feel bad too, or you must feel bad too. So they try to level the playing field by making you feel uncomfortable. Maybe think about it that way. And then we have the good old FOMO, fear of missing out, and insecurity. They might not even realize they're doing it. But if someone's feeling left out, maybe they don't even want to be at that party that they're hosting. Maybe they want to go with you because you have a fun life. Maybe they feel like they're not important to you. Their knee-jerk reaction might be to make you feel bad for leaving. But it's more of they want to be with you. They want you to be there. Maybe you're the life of the party. But that's where the guilt comes in for you, right? They might not be able to express themselves to you, and it comes off making you feel bad. Or, well, our reactions are our own, right? But maybe they want you to feel bad, or it's that guilt trip trap. Try to say that a few times over. So the physical response and why it feels so awful is this. Let's just talk about real quick what happens to our bodies when maybe guilt hits. Okay, so our reaction is, oh, I feel so bad, but I'm so busy, So ever notice how when someone makes a passive-aggressive comment, your stomach might clench a little bit, or you suddenly feel hot, embarrassed, or your face turns red, or maybe you owe them an explanation, or you feel like you owe them an explanation? That's because of a lovely hormone called cortisol. I'm sure you've heard of it. When we feel stress, even the minor stress of social pressure, our bodies release cortisol, which is basically your body's way of saying, alert, something's wrong. Your heart rate goes up, your stomach does a little somersault maybe, and suddenly you feel like you have to fix the situation. Okay, maybe I'll stay a little bit longer, which then makes you late for the next place, and then you feel guilty about the next place, and then, oh my goodness, roller coaster, right? Roller coaster. This is why so many of us cave in and stay longer than we want to. Our brain is literally trying to make the discomfort stop. But here's the one thing. Their discomfort is not our responsibility. Okay? Their discomfort, their guilt trip trap, their feeling bad that we're leaving because we have a few other things to do is not our responsibility. Okay? Please remember that. If you scheduled a time, if you have it in your calendar, I'm going to go to this party, then I have to leave this party at this time and go to this party so I can spend equal amounts of time with everyone. Do not feel bad about it. I know it's hard, right? It just happened to me yesterday. And guess what? It was fine. It was fine. So how do we respond kindly but firmly? How do we keep our boundaries? How do we respond in a way that keeps our boundaries without being rude? Because we already know our plan. And they might just feel bad that we're leaving early because, again, people love seeing you. Sometimes we want to snap back, right? Actually, the world doesn't revolve around you and your party. We don't want to say that, right? That might not go over so well. Maybe try this, validation and boundary. I totally get that it's disappointing when people leave early, but I have to stick to my schedule. You're acknowledging their feelings without changing yours. Or humor, which I always use humor, which sometimes I wake up at 2 a.m. going, why did you say it that way? But if it feels right, oh, you got me. Another podcast episode that I have to record because I love hearing my own voice, right? It's still acknowledging that you're leaving early, but it's still keeping your boundary. It's lighthearted, but it's firm. You're still leaving no matter what. Okay. How about, yep, I have another commitment. Loved seeing you though. There's no room for negotiation. Again, I spent my 2 hours here. You saw my face. I saw you in person. We gave hugs. And now I got to go do it again at another party. If they really won't let it go, which I think is what happened 2 years ago, if my mind serves me correctly, I did have to repeat myself and say, yep, I got to head out. Busy day. There's no excuses. There's no over-explaining. You don't owe anyone an explanation for taking care of yourself. And guess what? This is another thing. Even if you don't have another party to go to, even if you have a nap scheduled, or you have a book to finish, or you just want to go home and spend time with a kid or a spouse, or you just want to go home because the house is going to be quiet for an hour, that is still your schedule. Okay? No one's home. You go to a party for 2 hours and you know that no one's going to be home from 2 to 3 o'clock. You leave that party at 2 o'clock and you say, thank you so much, but I got to head out. And you go back home for an hour. That's your hour. That's your schedule. That's you taking care of yourself. All right. So the hardest part is making it a habit and training your brain, because we know our brains like to go a little wild sometimes. If you're listening, that's why you're here. Actually sticking to the plan, which is absolutely what I wasn't going to do yesterday. I wasn't going to do it. And no one made me feel bad, but my brain was making me feel bad. Like, oh, I just want to watch her open all these gifts. And it was fine. If you're a recovering people pleaser like I am, saying no can feel like you just kicked a puppy. Let's face it. Here's where neuroplasticity comes in. The idea that the more we practice something, the easier it gets. Your brain is wired to want to avoid social discomfort. It is. Most of our brains, if you're listening, most of our brains are wired to avoid social discomfort. And yet somehow here we are. But the more you stand your ground, the more you set your boundaries, the more you set your schedule, the more your brain starts realizing, oh, hey, gotta go. I can set these boundaries and not get excommunicated from society. No one's going to say anything. And if they do, guess what? Nope, gotta go. I gotta head out. I got something else going on, and you do not have to tell them what it is. I gotta head out. The first time you do it, your heart might race. Your palms might sweat. Your face might turn red. You still might get upset. But guess what? After a few times, consistency, you'll start to feel that power shift. And let me tell you, it feels amazing. Except for yesterday when I was at that shower and I felt bad. All right, let's wrap this up. People guilt trip you because of their own issues, not yours. Your body freaks out because of cortisol. And the best way to handle it, keep it short, keep it kind, stick to. All right, let's wrap it up. People guilt trip you because of their own issues. Remember that, not yours. Your body freaks out because of cortisol. And the best way to handle it, keep it short. Keep it kind and stick to your boundary. Stick to your timeline. If you got to go, you got to go. If you need a reminder, set an alarm. I got to leave at 2. I got to leave at 3. Setting boundaries is an act of self-care. Please remember that. And you, my friend, deserve that. All right, that's it for today. Go set your boundaries. And if you have 3 parties in one day, set some time. Set some alarms on your phone and just head out when you need to. Hey, I got to head out. Beautiful party. I got to head out. That's all you got to say. But I'll see you next time. I'll have time for you next time as well. All right. Talk to you next time.